Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. Hope you're all doing very well. It's Sunday Night Live, and we've got Adam, Ricky, and Saeed on the show, and we're very excited. They're very excited. We've got lots to talk about tonight. I've been looking forward to it because, as people know, I've become Team Fred over the last 48 hours, and we know that at least one of these three are very much Team Matic, and Ricky's just shown us a bit of paper, so he's done his own work as well, so that's going to be very interesting. But we're excited. We are excited because we've got the football coming back this week. We might not even be fifth on Friday night if Sheffield United win on Wednesday. So, but Chelsea have won their friendly 7-1 today. We lost to West Brom. Does it mean anything? No, I don't think it does. But I do think I've titled the show Solskjaer's Last Dance for two reasons. One, Last Dance was very popular on Netflix, and I thought, might help the SEO. I'm only joking. But seriously, I think it is almost his last dance in many ways, because if it went really wrong, would he still be in a job next season? Now, for me, I can only speak from my point of view as part of the United Stand. I think it's time United fans get behind Ollie, get behind this team, and give them the support that they need. And let's see what they do with that support. It almost feels like a mini season to me. So I'm excited. I'm up for it. Look, I'm not suspicious. I'm not going to say I'm not suspicious that it could go wrong, but I'm behind this team. I'm excited. I'm ready to go, and I'm behind Ollie and the team, and I'm feeling confident. We'll start with you, Adam. How are you feeling, mate?
I'm absolutely buzzing, ready to go, mate. I'm confident. We played 2 games against West Brom, didn't we? 2 60-minute games. And I don't really care much for friendlies. I mean, Chong and Pereira scored our goals, and they're not going to get anywhere near the team, are they, on Friday? So, no, everyone's looking as sharp as they can do. I'm confident. I've said it all along over the last couple of weeks that I see United definitely getting in the top 4. In terms of, like you said, then Ole, and what happens to Ole if we don't, then I think obviously we move straight on to the Europa League and put our eggs in that basket. If it does fail, is that going to be a get out of jail card again like it was for Mourinho? But for me, no, the way our squad's looking, the way everyone's come back, Rashford looks sharp, obviously Martial to carry on where he left off, Bruno linking up with Pogba. So many positives to go on, and you know what? We've barely spoke about the likes of Wan-Bissaka over the last few weeks. You keep forgetting how well these players were all playing before we actually went into the lockdown. So a lot to actually get excited about. Obviously, football coming back, we may just get a little bit over the top, but I'm sure it's going to be a tedious watch. Drinks breaks are coming in, I've heard. We've got all the substitutions to go on, but I don't care. Football's back, and I just can't wait to get down and watch some real football again.
I'll tell you what, it might be a late night for you lot on Friday night, actually, because you're all doing your fan cams with Flex. It's already a 8:15 kickoff with all these drinks and water stops and all these subs. We might not finish the match till about midnight, but we will have it all back. Really excited about that. Saeed, you're the one I should have started with, really, because I'm telling everyone, get behind Solskjaer, got to get behind the team. I'll put you on a spot. Where are you now, Mr. Ollie out? Are you behind us, or do you think it's going to go on?
He's behind him all the way until the end.
Listen, I'm always Ollie out, man. I'm a realist, me. I'm Ollie out to the day he leaves that football club. But for me, in terms of like joking around aside, you know what I mean, I am going to be still in terms of backing Ollie to the end of the season, because he is Manchester United manager, and that's for me clear as day. Like, you know what I mean, we've got to back him for now. I did say if he gets top 4, then fair enough, he deserves another season. But if he doesn't get top 4, and for me, the pressure's on now. This is where we're going to see the bread and butter of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We got man like preseason Pirlo, preseason Kaká. Don't know what you call him, but Pereira's banging in the goals. You know what I mean? Chong scoring. So must be all going right in training. You know what I mean? So, but for me, I'm the opposite of Adam. I'm feeling nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just feel like it's almost a case of Man United are doing so good that let's forget what Tottenham's about. And yes, we could talk about United and we could talk about how good we're doing right now, but I think we need to settle down. We need to relax and just let's not get our feelings into this too much, because Tottenham are a very, very good team, and if we can get the first goal.
When are Tottenham a good team then?
It's shite.
Well, Tottenham
they lost to Norwich, and they had coronavirus by the sound of it.
I know.
They lost to Norwich with coronavirus.
They've got top quality players. They've got Son. They've got Harry Kane. Them two there, they would walk into my United's team. Don't get me wrong with that one. But for me, we've got to take the first goal's crucial for me. If we get the first goal in, I think we'll absolutely destroy Tottenham. But I don't know. I'm worried as the days are coming on. I'm feel like, you know what I mean? Do I want football back? You know what I mean? But I'm excited. You know what I mean? I'm nervous. There's all that feelings in me. I just want Man United to win. I don't care how it comes. 1-0, flick over the top. You know what I mean? The own goal. I don't care. As long as Man United win, that's all that matters.
So basically, what you're saying is, if United win, you're on the bandwagon. But if they lose, you're gonna say, "I told you so." So you're playing both sides, basically, aren't you?
No. What I'm trying to say to you is, I just want to win. I don't care how it comes, but Ollie's gonna get it if we don't win. That's all I'm gonna say to you.
Ricky, one thing I will say is that, look, I saw Chelsea's win today. I don't really care about that. But what I do care about is that they are ahead of us. And ultimately, if they win all their games and Leicester win all their games, which is unlikely, we can't catch them no matter what happens. And we haven't got Chelsea to play. So we've got Leicester to play, but they're 8 points ahead of us. So it is somewhat out of our hands. But what I'd also say is I think Chelsea's first game's Villa, which I would expect them to win. Our first game's Spurs. I feel confident, but I think that first game, like Saeed said, very important. I almost feel like Ollie might think a point's a good result, but we've got to put that pressure on from Chelsea early. What are you feeling? Because you're behind Ollie, aren't you? And are you confident?
I think I think we've got enough. We've got enough that we can win that game. But I agree a little bit. Well, more than a little bit with Saeed. I know Spurs have not been having a great season, but they've got enough good players that if they turn up on the day, they could turn anybody over. They really could. And I mean absolutely anybody. They're not, they've got top Premier League footballers. If they played Liverpool, who were unbeatable almost, but they did get beat 3-0 at Watford. Do you know what I mean? If Spurs turned up on the day, they could beat Liverpool, so they can beat us. It's just what happens on the day and who's up for it and who's not. So, yeah, I'm nervous, although I do think we've got enough to do it. I'd like to come back on a point that Adam mentioned that I've heard quite a lot of people mention. And you always get this. We've got beat 2-1 with supposedly the strongest team by West Brom. What I don't know, and I don't know if anybody knows, is what sort of team West Brom put out. Was that their strongest team? Was it their weakest team? But even if it was their strongest team, we'd expect to beat West Brom. And although lots of people will say it's about getting strength in your legs, getting fitness, getting the lads blowing a bit, blah, blah, blah. That's all true. But if it's the other way around, if we beat them 4-0 and Rashford, Pogba, Bruno and Marshall all get on the score sheet, everybody would be saying, we're firing now, here we go. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit like making an excuse in a way. So
I remember when Van Gaal won all his friendlies in the pre-season, mate. I do, and we were flying. Here we go. This is it. And then bang, 2-1 at home.
It is exactly what happens. And that happened then. Really, you're backing my point up. Everybody was saying, "Yeah, it's great. Look how well we're playing."
It's all about the metal when you're in the serious situation.
And we're saying that it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
You're right, because I think that I was playing FIFA at the time I was on a stream anyway, and someone was saying 2-1, and I was like, "Shut up! Have you seen the team we've got? We've got Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, Martial. You're telling me we're going to lose to West Brom?" So I must admit, I know it's only a friendly, but I was a little bit like, "Oh, have we hyped them up a little bit too much?" And we are still on track for our lowest ever Premier League points total. So we've just got to. I think so many people are putting so much weight on the fact that this looks like a good team. It looked like it had momentum. But we could, as much as it could be momentum, we could look back on it and go, the coronavirus is the worst thing to happen to Manchester United, because we were going to win that Spurs game that Sunday. They were on their knees, weren't they? We were looking good. But Prem Prodigy's just said here that United played their worst defence. If it was the other way around, I would be more worried. Yeah, you can't read too much into pre-season games. And I think, like what George Kyle said, I think the fitness is really going to be the big thing, because I watched those first few weeks of the Bundesliga, and I think it was just it was ridiculously bad. So I'm not expecting great football in the first few weeks. But let's talk about this. I want to get in this one. Okay, so we'll start off with a neutral first. We know that Ricky's team Matic. I'm going to be team Fred. I have come to the conclusion. We'll start with you, Adam. I have come to the conclusion that I think that Bruno and Pogba have got to start out of three. And I think he'll go 4-2-3-1. So that's Bruno ahead with Pogba and one other. I just can't not pick Fred. And I know Matic. I know Mr. Matic has got a big sheet of paper. But all I'm going to say is I can't not pick Fred, because he's made the most interceptions. He's made more interceptions than Kante and Ndidi this season. He's made more interceptions than anyone in our midfield. He's more mobile than anyone in our midfield. And I love Matic. And a part of me thinks it should be Matic, Fred and Bruno. But if Pogba's going to play, I can't see how you drop Fred. He's just been our second best player this year. So what would you do with your midfield three? Because actually voted today I saw on Twitter, people went McTominay, Bruno and Pogba.
It's one of them, innit? I mean, I think, like you said then, in terms of dropping Fred, the reason why everyone's thinking that Fred is going to play, I think he had 22 games straight starting. He's probably paid a lot more than a lot of other players, which is probably why his stats are creeping up there again compared to the likes of a McTominay or someone like that, because he has got a lot of minutes under his belt. Is Ollie going to drop him as soon as Pogba comes back? That's the big question, isn't it? Because Matic starts, and do you go defensively? Are we going the two holding midfielders, which everyone hates? Remember, a few eyebrows were raised when I said I'd play Bruno alongside Matic and go on the attacking side of it, because I do feel if we sit back and play two holding midfielders, it does hamper us. Our best players, and I think our best formation, and we've never been able to play it because we've never had all our players fit. And you could argue the point, well, is this now the time with only 9 games to go, a little mini tournament of 9 games to actually tear up the team sheet and go change everything because Pogba's back? Fred, I can see Fred playing alongside Matic. I really can. That's just how I see Ollie picking that team. I know he's going to go defensively when he doesn't need to. He's not going to listen to what I'm saying. And I see it being Matic and Fred holding. I see McTominay on the bench, and somehow he's going to, I don't know how he's going to do it, but Pogba's going to be playing somewhere up in that front three for me then, because Bruno's going to be in the midfield as well. It's where I play Matic, where I play Fred. For me, he's not a holding midfielder, but if you're going to put him in this team with all the players available, he has to go in holding midfield because he's not as good as the other players that we've got to play in a more advanced role. And the likes of Bruno, Pogba, even McTominay's a better and more advanced player than what Fred is. And that's proved in McTominay's performances this season. Definitely going forward, McTominay's a better player right now. So Fred has to sit next to Matic if he's playing. And I think that's where he's going to go. I think he's going to go with the two holding midfielders.
He might do the diamond. He might do that. Saeed,
possibly, yeah.
What would you do with this midfield? Because I know we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, but we're very close to the game now. And I think, you can have your fantasy team, but we're really getting... I think we've got to beat Spurs. So, subs are going to be massive. Whoever starts in the midfield, I said this last night, if it starts Matic, Bruno and Pogba, I don't care how well Matic and Pogba are playing. I'm taking them off an hour because I know Fred and McTominay are fresh and I trust them. So I will sub them, two of the midfielders off anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a massive game for us, and I feel like we've almost forgotten what Fred can do. For me, you look at it in terms of football ability. You look at Bayern Munich, for example. They've got Kimmich and Thiago in there. Not the greatest of tall. They're not tall. They're not strong. They don't, you want to call them defensive holding midfielders. But what they do is they release the ball and they're quick on their feet on the ball. And that's what Man United have got to do. That's why they've got to play Fred. Fred in there against Lo Celso. You've got Ndombele and probably Sissoko. They're very, very quick. In terms of when they get the ball, they've got to be quick. And in terms of Fred, he can almost just get to that ball quicker than Matic. That's why I believe he's got to play ahead of Matic. Matic, for me, he does things well as shielding the ball. But United have got a one-off game for me that they need to win. And if they can win, then the next game against Sheffield United, you play your Fred. Or you bring on Matic for the last 20 minutes of the game just to shield the back four and just say, you know what, Tottenham, what are you going to do for the game? But you've got to start Fred. Fred gets the ball, he can play it to Bruno. It's almost like playing in the five-a-side. When you play in the five-a-side, you pick your best players in the midfield so then they can release the ball quicker to the forward players. And that's what Fred does here. He gets the ball in tight spaces. Can he release the ball to Pogba? Can we keep the ball? For me, if you tell the person who can keep the ball more, I'd rather Fred in there, keeping the ball, giving it to Pogba, spraying the ball. Maybe Pogba can say, you know what, I'll sit, you go forward. And maybe Fred can do that. I think Fred can play in the number 8 role where he can go more advanced. You've seen it with Shakhtar. He can go more advanced there. So for me, Fred's got to play ahead of Matic. I like Matic. He was doing well for us, towards the end of the season. But I'm just worried about the energy. And Ndombele looks a bit leaner now. He looks a bit more match sharp. You look at Sissoko, the running. Can Matic cope with that? Lo Celso in there, the trickery, running around holes. You know when Matic, the easiest thing to do around him is just play around him like a triangle balls around him. Then you could.
Oh, he's gone.
from me. It has to be Fred.
Okay. I mean, look, what I would say, Ricky, we know where you're going to go. You're going to get your piece of paper out for Matic. But I do think, is there not some point in what Fred and Adam have said there, that if you're Pogba, you probably want to play in a midfield too with Fred because he's more mobile. And if you're Matic, do you not want to play with Fred instead of Pogba because Fred's more disciplined and more mobile as well? Yeah, we're probably talking Pogba and Fred or Pogba and Matic.
Yeah, I think if Matic plays, he would prefer to have somebody around him who's going to do a lot of hard work. I do think that, but Matic is a quality shielder of the back four. He doesn't go running all over the field. He lets them come on to us, if you like. Like I say, I've worked some stats out here that I think are dead interesting. And I'm going to use
We'll let you know, Phil.
I'm going to use an analogy for it. I love your analogies when I listen to your show, Mark. You talk about walking into a nightclub.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to Ricky's nightclub. I'm all ears.
Nightclub. No, but here's an analogy before I give you my stats. Paul Scholes and Steven Gerrard have got 11 league titles between them. Right? It's a fantastic record. Steven Gerrard should be very proud. It's an average of 5.5 medals each. But if you take the man out who's holding that up, the 11, obviously you're left with a terrible record. If you take the bad record out, you're left with an unbelievable record because don't get me wrong, even 5.5 league title medals is a fantastic record. There's only about 8 people got more than that. So between them, they've got a great record. Now then, coming to these stats, do you remember the tweet United put out? Being so proud about having more clean sheets than any team in Europe so far this season. Did you see that, Adam?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've talked about it before.
I've not.
And obviously they tweeted it, so they're very proud of it. And obviously a lot of the fans then talk about it. They're proud of it. So we've played 47. It's all competitions, by the way. We've played 47 games this season, and we've kept 20 clean sheets. That's the record. Now, with Matic has only played 20 games, and in those 20 games, we've kept 13 clean sheets. In the other 27 games without Matic, we've only kept 7 clean sheets. The difference is absolutely astonishing. Like my analogy, the one person, it's not the one person, it's the games that person's played in. But the record on one side is so heavily weighed that it drags up the terrible record and gives you a good record. 27 games and only 7 clean sheets. 20 games with Matic and 13 clean sheets. Now, some people might say some of them are in Europa League, but so are all of them. Some of the other ones are in the Europa League. Before Christmas, I've heard you on your show, Mark, sometimes saying he was terrible before Christmas, Matic. If somebody said to you Pogba was terrible before Christmas, you'd probably say, well, he wasn't playing, he didn't play enough. Matic only played 5 games before Christmas. 5 games. He played.
But he was fit though, wasn't he? That's because he's crap.
Yeah. No, he wasn't selected. It wasn't because he's crap. It was because he wasn't selected. So
why wasn't he picked then?
Get this.
Get this, Mark. Get this.
He came into the team against Burnley. The Burnley game was our 29th game of the season, right? Our 29th. So we've played 28 games at that point. At that point, I've just given you the way up the balances, like the Scholes-Gerrard thing, and the balances are unbelievably different when he plays. At Christmas, when he came into the side, it was staggering. We'd played 28 games. Matic had played 5, in which we'd kept 4 clean sheets. So that means we kept 4 clean sheets in the other 23 games. 4 clean sheets out of 5 games with Matic. Some of them are Europa League, but so are the others. 4 clean sheets in 23 without him. 4 clean sheets in 5 with him. The differences are just unbelievable. And it's his shielding of the back four that has helped us to get this record that we're proud of. But don't forget, without him, we've got an absolutely appalling record.
It's true, but also, I mean, we've never played 2. We played 2 holding midfielders, so he's always got someone next to him, and most of the time, like Adam said, it's going to be Fred, which I think is maybe we're wandering into something here that that I didn't expect. With I've got to be Fred, you're going to be Matic. Actually, maybe it should be Matic and Fred, and that's the way it should be, because that they actually have the record together, and they're the players that would play him well before the break. So, does Pogba walk in or not?
Let me add one more thing, though, Matt. When you're saying that, leading up to the Christmas thing with 4 clean sheets in 23, Fred and McTominay are playing in loads of them games, loads of them. It's the ones that Matic plays in where we keep clean sheets.
Yeah, but it's what I'm saying is it's Matic and Fred, isn't it? They work well together, and they were the combination. They were the combination between January and March, because McTominay was injured, and obviously so was Pogba. So they know. And plus,
it does come down. It does come down to partnerships, because I guarantee you put Phil Jones next to
Matic,
Harry Maguire, then you're talking a different ball game to where Maguire and Lindelof are by, aren't you? It's totally different. It's all about the partnerships, because we always play 2 holding midfielders, and the case for Fred is he has been in for 22 games straight, so he is the one. When Matic has come in, that has worked well. So you could say, and you could argue, Matic has been the right player to play alongside Fred, because Fred's been there all the time. We're trying to find a player to play alongside Fred in a way, if you're going off them sort of statistics. Because Ollie obviously knows, and this is why I think we're all agreeing that Fred probably is. Even Ricky's going to agree that Fred's probably going to play, because we know what Ollie's going to do. We know that Matic is probably going to play. It's going to be Matic and Fred. I think it's nailed on, because Fred isn't going to be dropped now, I don't think, by Ollie.
I think it's too much of a risk anyway, because if you Fred and Matic, it's such an important game. Why would you change it? I know we've had 3 months of lockdown, but why would you change something that works?
And also, if you look at it, I don't think our problem was leaking in goals. I don't think we were leaking in goals like 2-3 a game. I think it was the 1-0s, the 1-1s, and you've got to look at it. For me, as a Man United fan, I'd rather have a game of 3-2 than a 1-0, in terms of a case of, like, Matic will solidify you every game 1-0, maybe a 2, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like we've been lacking creativity, and I think Fred can almost also offer you that kind of a base of, getting the ball and picking it off people, but also getting the ball and moving it. I just want to play that can almost have a bit of flair about him. I don't want to be sitting back and inviting pressures on. That's what we're doing when Matic was in the midfield against the likes of Everton. Against the likes of Everton when he was playing. The Aston Villa game, it was almost sitting back and weren't having no kind of a creativity. That's what was our problem. Our problem was creating goals and going forward. So for me, I'd rather have Fred any day. That Brazilian sauce. Come on, Ricky.
The Aston Villa game. Did you mention Matic in the Aston Villa game there?
Everton.
Oh, Everton. Okay.
All right then. Okay, so I mean, I knew my mind would change as we got closer to it, because reality starts to bite and fantasy starts to disappear. But does Pogba walk straight back into this team? Because I don't want to see a diamond. And if we do start Fred and Matic, Bruno's got to be ahead of them, and then you have a front 3 where you can't stick Pogba in. Jacob Riff just said Pogba's got to start. I think in a game of this magnitude, where I sit at the moment, and I have changed from where I was a week ago, and I might change in 3 days' time, but from where I sit right now, this game is too important to risk things. I wouldn't start Pogba. I would put Pogba on the bench. I would start with Fred and Matic and Bruno. I would start with the team as close as I could to the team that finished before the lockdown. I would start Rashford, but we'll talk about him in a minute. But I would go with Pogba, Fred, and Bruno ahead of them. Would you bring Bruno straight in, Ricky? Sorry, Pogba.
Pogba. No, I mean, obviously we've been discussing whether Fred or Matic should play, but I do agree with you. I mean, all the time I was arguing that. I do agree with you that Fred doesn't deserve dropping. But he doesn't deserve dropping quite as much as Matic doesn't deserve dropping. We don't let any goals in when Matic plays. I mean, one about the clean sheet, just a dead quick one, by the way. Matic at Everton, it would have been yet another clean sheet. It's not his fault that De Gea kicked one in his own net, is it? Do you know what I mean? So it's just a massive difference he makes. A massive difference.
Yeah, you could say that, but it would have been about 5. It would have been about 5-1 to Everton if it weren't for Maguire in that game as well. So I think for us to discard the likes of Maguire for all these clean sheets we've kept, Matic isn't the only one who's helped keep these clean sheets. The team at the back, they gel together. We have got a better defensive set. Luke Shaw's playing the best he's ever played for United. Maguire has come into form. Wan-Bissaka speaks for himself, obviously, and like you said, with Matic in front of him alongside Fred, that defensive unit has been fantastic. What we're looking at now is we need to win games going forward. I'm not for just going for a draw at Tottenham. I'm not for this. Tottenham are a dangerous team. United need to be looking at their best team going forward to beat a poor Tottenham team, because I think they are poor. I think they've got a manager who's past it, who is too arrogant and stuck in his ways to change things. And I think we've got a chance now to actually hit them in this game. I can feel a little bit of nerves going forward, but I think United should be looking at it now and saying, look, player for player in this team, Tottenham don't come near us for me. Yeah, you can say they'll beat anyone on the day, but that's the same with every single team in this league. We've seen Norwich beat City, for God's sake. You know what? It's all about, it can all change on the day, I know, but for me, I think United need to go for this one and just go at Tottenham, because if you win the first 2 games, I think we're cruising all the way to the top 4. If we don't win these first 2 games, oh God, I don't even want to think about it, because then we're up against it, because we put Tottenham to bed if we beat them. They're out of it. Gone. They're finished if we beat them. Sheffield United, they could easily win before we even play, and we need to put them back below us. And then I think we will take Sheffield United down, and I think they will be one of the teams who get hampered by the no fans, I think, going forward. Then the run of games,
not a big squad either, have they?
Yeah, the run of games after that and the injuries that are going to come, because we will get injuries. We know, we've seen the stats from Germany. We're all going to get injuries. United's squad is huge, absolutely huge, and I think that's where it's going to benefit us. That's why I'm confident, but I can't even remember where I started. Then I've just gone on one.
Would you bring Pogba straight in?
Would I bring Pogba straight in? I'm being realistically, I don't see him coming in, because the only player he can come in for is Bruno right now. We're talking Fred coming in. I'd try and find a way forward, but it all comes down to Ollie and his tactics for me. But Ollie likes his reliable players. He always talks up Pogba, and every time Pogba's fit, he plays. So there's a very, very good chance Pogba's coming into that team for me. How he fits in, I do not know.
Oh, I think he'll start as well, Saeed, to be honest. And Luke Johnson says, stop the sentiment, Pogba's our best player. Does he start for you, considering, just picking up on a point there, if we drew with Spurs and Chelsea beat Villa, on Sunday night we'll be 5 points off 4th place instead of 3. And suddenly 5 points, that's what we're saying we're going to be behind Leicester and catch them if we beat Leicester, because they're 8 at the moment. So this is the thing. I mean, everyone's, it's great. It's great. Football's back. It's so exciting. But if we don't beat Spurs and Chelsea beat Villa, that gap becomes 2 wins. And then that Sheffield United game becomes very difficult. So, he's got to get it right in a very difficult circumstance.
Exactly.
Of course, he's got to get Pogba in there. Play your best players. Like I said, play your best players. And then after 60 minutes, then you've got 5 substitutes. Then compose a game. Ollie bring a set of tactics to how to play the last 20 minutes. Compose a game. You know what I mean? Hit him on the break, Tottenham. Do the old classic Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer way of playing and just hit him on the break. But for me, you got to play your best players. Like Adam said there, beat Tottenham and Sheffield. Then you got the running. Then you've got the confidence, the arrogance to say, you know what? Right, we're going to play a different midfield today. We're going to give Lingard a chance if it may come. You know what I mean? But we've got to have a set of way of playing. You know what I mean?
Trying to get top 4, Saeed. What are you doing?
It will happen sooner or later. Lingard will be playing in the hole sooner or later. But in terms of we've got to play our best. Sorry?
There won't be enough game time for the best 5, Saeed, let alone the other ones. There won't be enough game time for the best 5.
Yeah.
But we just got to play our best players.
Like I said, then Lingard comes into it at some point, because we are going to get injuries. We know it.
Yeah, of course.
We are going to get injuries, and we're going to have to rely on a Pereira or a Lingard to come in, aren't we? Because it's what I think is going to see us through to top 4. Our squad, I think we've got depth in our squad. It's not fantastic depth, but the players there that can come in and do a job. At least we just need to pray that we don't lose our big names, some of our big players. But then again, everyone else, I think, is going to struggle with these injuries, and their squad sizes. I just don't see the teams that we're up against. Like Mark said, then Sheffield United, they've lived off Bramall Lane all season and that atmosphere. And you know what? When it comes down to tactics, then it's all down to these managers, isn't it? And a couple of players go down injured for Sheffield United, and they are in trouble.
I'm pretty sure Sheffield United as well. Sorry to interject. I'm pretty sure with Sheffield United, they play Wednesday, weekend, then Tuesday. So they've got 3 games in 6 days.
True.
We'll only play 2. And like you said, Adam, we could play Pogba, Matic and Bruno, and then we could play Fred and McTominay and Bruno against Sheffield United, have a bloody brilliant midfield and give Matic and Pogba a bit of a rest. And Sheffield United are there 3 games in 6 days. So it is interesting. I mean, just to touch on that, I want to get all your opinions. I'll start with you, Saeed. Do you think Ricky said at the start of the show that, I think Ricky said it, or somebody said football's going to be, it might have been Adam again, actually. We're going to get football in a very weird, I'm not bothered about no fans. I mean, I am bothered, but I've seen football on the Bundesliga without fans. And ultimately after 5 minutes, you just focus on the pitch. Football without fans is crap, but it's better than nothing. But I think we are going to get football. Do you think we're going to get football something very different in the sense that if you've got 5 subs, you're almost becoming a little bit like American sports, where it's not just about sending your best 11 out. It's about using your 5 subs because they're bursting with energy. And second half, 5 subs. We were joking at the start. How long is going to be injury time? But also, United, you name 9 subs. How much do you think that's going to be a big part of the game? Because I think the second half is going to be very stop-start between United and Spurs. Yeah,
it's going to be massive for me, without the fans. Like I said to you, I've been watching a lot of football, the La Liga, Barcelona's wiping teams aside. And for me, it's going to be football versus football. And, can Ollie provide us that magic? I will give massive respect to Ollie. And this is massive respect for me, that if he can pull this off towards the end of the season and be consistent and just wipe teams aside without the fans and just play his style of football that he wants to play. If you don't want to play Pogba in the midfield and you believe that Bruno and Matic and Fred can play in there, then you go and play that. I don't want to just go over-elaborate, overdo things, play Pereira on the right-hand side because he has to, track, Ben Davies on the left-hand side. I don't want to see none of that. I wanted to play how we play and match our strengths. And if Pogba is part of that, then he has to do so. So it's gonna be difficult because after 1-0 down, we get an own goal or something like that, heads drop. It's up to the players to have they got the mentality, have they got the kind of a team aura around them to say, you know what, we're gonna rise up to the challenge. It's only 1-0, let's push in. Can the people off the bench say, you know what, I'm not gonna sulk? Igalo, is he gonna be one that says, come on, I'm going to get the team out of this? Chong on the bench, can he provide something when Daniel James isn't there? It's got to be a team effort, guys. Team effort. Let's build it together and let's see how the team ethic goes into towards the end of the season, because we want everyone to have a common goal. That's to get in the Champions League, so we get the best players and then go push on from there. Because I don't want to just be a team that just competes for Champions League football year in, year out. It has to be a level playing field where United need to go for a target to achieve. And that's for me catching Liverpool City. It doesn't mean winning the trophy in the next 2 years. It means catching them, so at least 10 points behind him. Then it goes to 5, and then it almost goes to, you know what, we can compete now. That's what I want. I don't want United to almost, take this very lightly, and then obviously take this Tottenham very lightly because we need top 4. If we don't get top 4 this season, I'm telling you right now, forget Sancho and all them, mate. We're gonna be targeting Championship players. The guy from Swansea you heard about, that'll be our centre back next season. No disrespect.
Jordan Such is talking about something I wanted to discuss as well, saying about how Spurs' biggest threat is their attack with Son and Kane back. I think it was Vertonghen or Alderweireld, one of the two, talking about Harry Kane in training, saying he's back to his best. They're very excited about that. But Jordan says it there, Ricky, and I think I wanted to talk about that. I think when I've seen Spurs this season, what they've lost from Pochettino was this clean sheet team. They were a team that kept a lot of clean sheets. And this season, even with Mourinho, they're struggling to do that. I think United's strength in this game, unless they want to play out a 0-0, which I think a 0-0, I think we could all play out a 0-0 on Friday night. Mourinho would take it. And if Ollie wants it, it's there. I think a 0-0 is a very easy game to get against Spurs. And I think it's a very easy point for Mourinho to get. There's even talk of Mourinho. It was in The Athletic, I think, last night, saying that Bit weird for them to do it because they're not like the Sun or the Mirror saying that Mourinho's been telling people that Ollie's out of his depth almost. And Mourinho always does things for a reason. And my theory on that this morning was that he's trying to urge Ollie on him. He wants Ollie to attack him so he can maybe do him on the break. So because Mourinho does things for a reason. But I do think Spurs' weakness is their defence. And you look at someone like a Rashford and a Martial. Is that how you want United to approach the game? And do you think Ollie will do that?
I'm not 100% convinced yet that he might not start with the back five.
Yeah, I agree.
Games, I'm not 100. I don't think he will, but I'm not. I wouldn't put money on it. We played like that again. I know they're not City these days, and they're not Chelsea, but they're going to be, if they're up for it. Like I said before, it's going to be a proper tough game. We're not playing. No disrespect to these clubs, but we're not playing Aston Villa or Norwich. We're playing Spurs who they had to click. They could go and win 5 or 6 in a row quite easily. Do you know what I mean? Not many other clubs that below them could go and do that. So it could easily be a really tough game. So I'm not convinced he won't go with the back five and then 3 in the middle and the 2 forwards.
I'd hate the back five. I would cry if we did a back five against Spurs. I mean, it's Jose Mourinho. It's what we like. We may as well just put 2 buses at each end and say, let's have a game of dominoes on the halfway line. It's like it would have 0-0 written all over it. We don't need a back five, do we? But he might do it, but we don't need it.
Yeah, he might do it. I mean, like I say, I hope he doesn't. But if he did do it and they did sit back, obviously your full-backs can spend more time in their half. There's different ways of using a back five. But obviously against City, where they've got all the ball, and Chelsea away where they've got a lot of the ball, our back five is properly a back five. If we've got more of the ball and more time on the ball, Wan-Bissaka and Luke, it'd probably be Brandon Williams at left back, I think, wouldn't it? If it was a back five, that's the way he was doing it. They could spend a lot more time in their half, so it won't be quite as defensive necessarily as what it sounds.
If he goes for that back five,
if he does,
if he goes for that back five, then at least what he could do with that back five is if you got Rashford and Martial at the top of the base of the striker, he could stretch Tottenham's defence. And Tottenham's defence are not they're not young anymore. Alderweireld's getting on, Batonga's getting on. Ori is very, very lackadaisical, not the best defender in the world. So if he was going to play 2 at the attacking base, then at least that would stretch them with their centre backs. So you could argue against, you could argue for it. Sorry,
I think it'd be wasted. I think the reason it'd be wasted against Spurs is when you do it against Chelsea and you do it against Liverpool and you do it at Man City, they attack you and then they leave a space at the back, don't they? Mourinho saw us set up with a back five. He'd probably do one as well and say, I ain't attacking you. I'm not attacking you because he knows his defence is. I think Spurs will sit deep. I really do because I think
I'm going to.
That goal on January, Adam, wasn't it? The Pogba ball over the top to Rashford. That wasn't Mourinho, was it? That was Pochettino. But
we know exactly.
That's how you beat Spurs.
We know exactly. We know exactly what he's going to do. Mourinho's just going to say, "Give the ball to United." We're going to get the ball, then we're going to need ballers. It's as simple as that. Defensive football. Everyone's nervous about this game going forward. We're nervous because we're thinking like Spurs are a better team and it's a tough game. For me, I understand that point, but we're not in a position now with 9 games to be thinking like that. And we can't go into this game thinking like that. Like you said, a draw against Spurs and Chelsea wins 5 points down to 8 games. Then we've got Sheffield United. And I guarantee, like you said, that Mark before, Sheffield United game after dropping points against Spurs becomes an unneeded crucial game because then if we don't win that, then we could be looking like it's all over for top 4 because Wolves are coming up strong behind us. And you know what? Spurs would still be behind. I don't know who Spurs have got in there. I think Spurs getting a draw against United would give them confidence. I really do. We need to play. As well,
Spurs will definitely, and somebody just said it there, they'll target Lindelof with Kane. They'll hit long balls from the back. They'll look to win free kicks and stuff. He is definitely going to involve. This is what he's doing. This is what he's goading Ollie. He's saying he's out of his depth because he wants Ollie to attack him because Mourinho doesn't care if he didn't have the ball for 89 minutes. As long as he scores 1 goal and gets a clean sheet, he's going to sit deep. And like you say, Adam, if they do get the point, then that Sheffield United game becomes nervy. Well, Sheffield United have just played 3 games in 6 days, so they're going to sit back with their back five as well. And again, that pressure's on. We've got to do something with the ball on Friday confidently. And again, maybe you're wandering back to having a Pogba in the team.
That's it.
There you go.
This is where he comes in. This is where it comes in. We are a different team with Bruno. We are an even more different team, which you will not. I just hope that he took this time in training to work on a system with Pogba and Bruno, because back in early on in the season, you came up against United, you'd go, right, what are we doing here? We can take Martial out of the game, then we've nullified United. We take Rashford out of the game, then there's no threat for United. If you've got Rashford, Martial, Pogba and Bruno, you can't mark all 4 players out of the game. We've got players who will shoot from outside the box now. We've got a threat on that. We've got players on the bench like James to come on who have rapid pace. We've got a Gallo who we can target. We've got a target man now. We have options. All this should have been worked on in training, and there's no excuse. There's no pre-season fanfare going abroad everywhere like that. It's full on 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or whatever it's been of tactics, training, working on different formations, scenarios, everything. Everything. There's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. We are a team now going forward with that type of attacking talent that we have so many more options. And if Spurs give us the ball, then there's still no excuse for me. United should be able to break that Spurs team down. Even if they sit deep, they're still going to play into our hands because we've got the likes of Pogba and Bruno who can do things outside the box. You've got Ricky's other man there, the little maestro Mata, who can come on in the last 15, 20 minutes outside the box. If they're looking to play a key pass inside a tight area, and Mata's got the likes of Bruno, Rashford, Martial all running around him, even James Origalo, then the options are endless. We need to go into this game in a positive mindset, thinking we have got a team here. They have got 2 players for me in Son and Kane. I think Maguire will boss Kane. I really do. I think he'll play into his hands. They're both similar paced. And if Spurs have got anything about them, they will look to put someone like Son over Harry Kane onto Harry Maguire. I think Lindelof is quicker than Harry Maguire, and Lindelof, I think, will have a better chance against Son. So it all comes down to it. We have to have our major players all thinking on the right wavelength. We should be able to suss this game out. It's there. I know things change on the day, and we can all think Championship manager and everything like that and put players in positions we know are going to win a game. But I just think we've got the right players to just go at Spurs and just put this to bed. Get it to bed early. Put Spurs out the equation, and then let's look ahead. There's no excuse for me at all. There really isn't. I know it's not going to be easy because everyone's not as match sharp, but for me, I just see the likes of Rashford coming back quicker than what a Kane would. Son is the danger for me. I just fear for that. That Son is the one who is going to fear. I mean, some people would say Sissoko in that midfield and his engine going forward, he could be a threat. Does that mean Ollie goes up against with McTominay with a bit more sight? That's where it scares me a little bit. But I'd say we play our strong team. Spurs have to deal with us. We should be thinking about what Spurs are going to do right now, I don't think. I just don't think we've got the time. Simple as that.
I think look, I'm bloody excited listening to all you three. I was excited before. I'm really excited now. And I think but I do think, you can overcomplicate football. I mean, I've done coaching, I've played football, and, some of the best coaches I've ever had have just said, look, people overcomplicate it. You win the game by putting the ball in the back of the net. Some teams will defend, attack them, and I think Mourinho's going to defend. Ollie's got to have the balls, quite literally, to go and attack him. He's got the players, Bruno, Pogba, Rashford, Martial. He's got players to go and win games, and I would go and win because Mourinho's going to. Spurs fans are pretending to like Mourinho. They're like we were when we had Mourinho. They don't really want Mourinho. They don't want Mourinho. He doesn't fit in with Spurs style of play like he doesn't fit in with ours. He ain't got a game plan. So I think.
What surprised me though? What surprised me if you see Mata playing? Honestly, what surprised me if you see Mata playing?
I'd be stunned. I would be stunned if you picked Mata.
It wouldn't surprise me if you see a back three maybe, or Musbayi playing. I wouldn't surprise you. Would say Lindelof would be playing because he's very, very intelligent in terms of picking up spaces. It won't surprise me if Jesse Lingard didn't start. I am.
What are you doing, Said? Come on! I've just picked everyone up and got us confident.
It's not me. Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, it's not me. I just know Ollie. I know him. I can see his brain. I can hear him. I can think him thinking. You know what? Let me get some energy in that midfield. It's not me.
He
I don't
can't
want
give
Jesse
Lingard another chance. He can't.
But honestly, I just feel like Lingard with the energy in that midfield. I just feel like he'll start him. And the way
you know what, Saeed? Be quiet, because Ollie probably does watch the United Stand. We are the biggest channel in the world.
No, I don't know it.
He might be sat there tonight going, he's just moved Pogba out the team for I'm umming and ahhing, and now Lingard's starting.
Me. I just see too much. It's like today when talking about Sanchez about all this nonsense about if the furniture don't fit with the thing. But then last year you were talking about Sanchez will come back and he'll show you better. This is Ollie. This is what you guys wanted. I don't want this. I want a manager that believes in what he can do, and he's going to bring Lingard on.
Whatever you're doing, put your pen down. Yeah. Do not listen to him. Anyway. Don't put Lingard in.
You need to go. I won't Pochettino anyway. Bye bye.
Go on,
Ricky.
We just spent 20 minutes arguing over whether he'll drop Matic or drop Fred just to So Saeed seems to think we can pick 14, I think.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, Adam mentioned Mata. I want to talk about Rashford in a minute, but on Mata, I know we can make 5 subs, but we can only have 9 subs. If it's Romero, 2 defenders, that's 3. Obviously, Matic and Fred maybe, or the 2 that don't play, that's 5.
Igalo,
James or Greenwood, that's 7. And then that leaves you
one Mata,
and then Pereira or Lingard. One of those doesn't make it, I suppose. So yeah, he should be on there, but you just don't know, do you? I want to talk about Rashford, because I think we've spoken about Pogba, we've spoken about Matic, but I think the one player that throughout lockdown has done such good things for the charity, but I just think he's hungry. I think this is a player, you can see it in his personal life, you can see it on social media, you can see what he's doing for kids in Manchester, you can see what he's doing with charity work. This is a very hungry guy who wants everything, and he seems to be doing it in the right way. He and Martial, if they are fit, they're a real handful for any defence on Friday and for the rest of the season. I suppose the best thing to put to all 3 of you is just in relation to Rashford. I said that I think that Rashford can be world class. At the moment, he's probably top class. He needs to find not consistency. He needs to find consistency in his final ball. Sometimes he does all the hard work, and then he'll put it over the bar from a free kick, or he'll put a bad cross in. Ricky, how good can Rashford be? These next 9 games almost seem. Well, I think these next 9 games are so defining for everybody, but Rashford probably more hungry than anybody, because he didn't think he'd get back this season. It's like he looks fresh, he looks ready. Yeah, how big do you think it's going to be for Rashford, and what do you think he can? How good do you think he can be?
It's a bonus for him, obviously, that we've had the lockdown, and it's allowed him to get back and actually play football this season. I do think he'll be in the team. I don't know. Like we just spoke about the format that we're going to play. We're probably going to play with 3 forwards, I think, which I noticed Dan James didn't play, did he, at all against West Brom the other day? I don't know what's.
I think he was in the second. No, I don't. I think
there were 2 games. I think, yeah, I think they all plenty played. I'm sure I've seen a picture of him. I can't remember now, actually.
I did read somewhere that he didn't take part whatsoever.
Right.
Wow, saving him, probably.
But I think we'll play 3 forwards, and I think Dan James, will play right, and I think Rashford left and Marshall up top. If we only play 2 forwards, a little bit like the situation we had with Matic and Fred, and does any of them need dropping, I'm not 100% certain he'll drop Dan James if he only plays with 2 forwards. If he only plays with 2 forwards as well, I've been thinking about this. We discussed this a few weeks ago about when we played City, and how Dan James spent a lot of the time supporting Wan-Bissaka playing on the right. So don't forget, it's not just as simple as who the best players are. It really isn't. James plays more to the right. Rashford plays more to the left. If Son's playing, Son plays on the left. So it might be advantageous to have somebody playing on the right defensively to support Wan-Bissaka than it will be necessary to have someone playing on the left. So there's more to it. Lots of people just think, pick the best players, it's going to work. it isn't FIFA, as you say. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more thinking about it to do when you're picking your side. I do think he'll play 3 forwards, and I think they'll all play.
It's interesting though, isn't it? I mean, we've spoken about Pogba quite a bit over the last month, but Rashford's such a fan favourite, Adam. He almost goes straight back in. But there's a few players that are sort of in this boat. There's no pre-season. This is not a pre-season. This is the longest break many professional footballers will ever have, 3 months. Because even in the summer, people think it's longer than what we've had. It's not. You might have a month off. You might have 3 weeks off. You might have 2 weeks off if you get to a final of a World Cup. And you've got certain players like Kane and Rashford who've had bad injuries, who, they've been training, but they haven't played competitive first-team football. You mentioned the injuries there. Is there almost case to sort of not play Rashford and Pogba and sort of ease them in? Not because they're not match fit, but because there might be a bit of a drop-off. Or do you think, and again, how, in relation to Rashford, do you think he can be world class, or do you have concerns about he's a little bit overhyped by our fans?
I know Ricky and Said know how I'm going to answer that one. We had a little conversation about this on Twitter the other day. I said it on my own channel. I said I think Rashford will be United's all-time leading goal scorer.
I hope so.
This is how much I rate Rashford. I just see a player who's improved every season he's played. Every single season he's played, he's got better and better and better. And you look at, we're talking about Spurs possibly being a tough game. Do we still class Spurs as a top 6 team? And I think Rashford's record just this season against the top 6 teams, I think he's played 8 games and scored 9 goals. Rashford's a big game player, and he scores goals against the best teams. We've seen it. And he is still raw, but I still think Rashford can be world class. Definitely be world class. In terms of,
is he a winger? Sorry, Adam, just very, very quickly, because I know you'll go. Adam, is he a winger? When you look at the stats this season, there was a definitive change. He was bad at the start of the season when he went up front when Martial got injured. He started on the left against Chelsea. I think he got 2 goals. When Martial came back, he went on the left, and he was unbelievable goal scoring record. Is he now a left winger, or do you think, would you trust him up front?
I think wingers are dead, mate. I don't even class them as
left
wingers
forward
anymore. Yeah, he's left-sided forward. I think he plays, and I'm not comparing him to Ronaldo, but Ronaldo's not a centre forward. They sort of drift out from the wing and come in, and that's where they're more dangerous. I think the out-and-out centre forward in this team at the moment is Ighalo, in terms of a proper, you would say, an old school centre forward. And I'm not taking anything away from Martial there, because he is probably our best number 9, but in a different way. I think Rashford with Martial is twice as good as what he is without him. I think that goes vice versa as well. I think they link up really well. The fact that Bruno is now feeding Rashford and Martial, and you add Pogba to it, is even more frightening again. But I do think Rashford definitely plays better off Martial, so from the side. In terms of his crossing, I just don't see that side of it. I mean, how many times do you see, like Ronaldo, putting balls into the box? It's just a different game now. Yeah, crosses are part of it, and they are going to come in. But I've seen Rashford set so many goals up for Martial this season. It's frightening. I mean, the link-up, can you remember back to the Norwich away game? The link-up for Martial's goal. They're on exactly the same wavelength. We have got diamonds here as a forward line in terms of Martial and Rashford. The fact that we are adding fuel and we are adding firepower to that from our midfield, it can only get better and better. And I can only see Rashford getting better with the better players coming in that we have got coming in, with Pogba coming in and Bruno coming in. That Martial and Rashford, I expect Rashford to hit 25 goals this season. Said said maybe come back when Rashford gets 25 goals a season. I think he's going to get that this season. I think Martial's going to be over 20 goals this season. If you've got, and I'm saying with FA Cup and Europa League, not just the Premier League here now. The only fear I've got for Rashford, and like you said, Denmark, is he is raring to go. Is he going to go gun-ho? And with not playing so much, is that going to be where the injuries come? That's my only fear. He's that excited to get going again. And like Ricky said, he's been given the chance and got lucky that he's got the chance to finish his season off. that he's going to come in and then bang, there goes that hamstring. Are we going to get a Ryan Giggs in the early years again? You know what I mean? Just pure enthusiasm, which he has got, and it's good to see. And his injury record isn't. I know it was an obscure injury with his back, which is probably good. And you know what? So far, he's looked quite decent for injuries, Rashford. I just hope this isn't the moment when he comes in all excited, like you said, and then bang, he goes out and gets injured in the first game. That's the only fear I've got for him in terms of a player. Definitely got it, and can only get better, especially with the team that we're building around him on that forward line. It's a no-brainer for me with Rashford. It really is.
I think something just dropped into my head as well, which is great about these conversations, and I'm sure people in the live comments have it as well. Ollie needs to learn there. It just popped into my head. We've seen him this season play Pogba injured and lost him for 3 months. We saw him bring Rashford on against Wolves and worsen the injury, and we lost him for 3 months. He kept playing Harry Maguire every game when he was having a knock, and he could have lost him. So Ollie needs to definitely in the next 6 weeks, with so many games, he's got to be clever with that squad, because one injury, they're out. 6 weeks is not long. A hamstring, an ankle strain, but you will miss the rest of the season. So you're going to get bad luck, but he can't overuse them. What Adam said there, Saeed, about Martial and Rashford, they've got really good records this season, and most of it's been with Pereira and Lingard behind them. It's amazing what might happen with Pogba and Bruno behind them. But what do you think about Rashford? Do you think he has that world class in him?
I'm not sure about world class. I think top class right now. I think that's that's the aim for him to be. I just think he's got to be consistent, and top players stay consistent, and he's got to find that. I want to see more goals in terms of outside the box. I think he's got a lot of penalties this season. That's not down to him, but I want to see more goals from outside the box and him trying to get in forward more. You know what I mean? I want him to do well. There's this consensus that I hate Rashford, but I don't. I want him to do well. You know what I mean? There's only one bad game at Newcastle where I was upset with him. You know what I mean? And I thought that he wasn't a striker. That's when I knew he wasn't a striker.
I'm going to say, just stay. Ricky, we need to do a thread on Rashford against Newcastle as well now, okay? Said. Carry on, Said, mate. Carry on.
But you know what I mean? Like, in terms of Rashford, he's more of a left winger because I want him just to go at players. When he's not thinking too much, Rashford is unbelievable because he can just go at players and just take them on and then pass it on to Martial. But when he's up top, you've got to have that kind of, movement, intelligence. I don't think Rashford's got the intelligence right now. I mean, he's only, 22, 23? He can build on that and he can almost find his way in there, you know what I mean? But he's got a lot to do, you know what I mean? He's got a lot of consistency to do, you know what I mean? Can he push on this season? I think he can. I think he can do brilliantly. With the likes of Bruno in there, Pogba, all he's got to do is make the right runs. If he can make the right runs, him and James, oh my God, we have got a team right there. Because if you can do what I do on FIFA, then if you can do that, then Pogba and Bruno can send them over the top, find the ball, then we're living good. We're living good.
Can I just say something, Matt? When we were talking earlier about maybe, will it be a cagey game, and should we put all our attacking players in other words, in a roundabout way, put all your eggs in one basket? I've just had a quick look at the table just to confirm my thoughts, because typical of any fans, we always look up, don't we? You don't often look down. And Spurs are 4 points behind us. If they beat us, they're 1 point behind us. Spurs fans will be having this same conversation tonight, saying we can finish above these. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So
I'm not worried, Ricky, because Arsenal are having that chat as well, and they ain't finishing above us either. So
Wolves as well. Wolves.
My point being is, I don't think we're just going to go gung-go and throw all our eggs in one. I think it's going to be a cagey game for both managers, mate. That's what I think.
And you also got
if you think there, though, if we go draw against Spurs, I'm pretty certain that's us behind Sheffield United and Wolves if they get their results. So we're talking about Spurs here and them trying to stay up with us.
Well, we'll be behind Sheffield United on Friday night.
We could be right next to Spurs behind Sheffield United and Wolves. So there's no room. There's no time. There's no time, I don't think, for thinking this is a good draw away at Spurs, because Wolves, they're raring to go.
I'm not suggesting, Adam, that they'll say it's a good point, a good draw. I'm not suggesting that for 1 second. You play on the break. The idea of playing like they played against City and like they played against Chelsea is that it gives you your best chance of winning the game, not drawing the game. If you can keep a clean sheet, which I've been banging on about clean sheets enough, you've only got to get one.
I'll tell you what, Ricky, you'd be a fantastic manager of United, wouldn't you? Sending them out with a clean sheet. Matic, you tell them what to do, and then we'll get a lucky goal at the other end.
It'll be a game.
I bet you look for it.
My words. My words.
I did want to ask you all this very quickly. Don't go to town on it. Free kick, penalty kick. I'm going to go around all of us. Who takes the penalties? Ricky.
I think that Bruno's the man in possession. I've been saying that about the players who've been playing, to be fair, and I think the same thing applies. He's the man in possession, so Bruno.
Adam?
Yeah, I think I would go. He scored a penalty in the friendly, didn't he? Again, the other day. Yeah, I'm for penalties. It doesn't matter to me. Whoever's in possession, like Ricky said, and he's scoring, penalty goes to Bruno because he's the one who's got him.
Saeed?
I'll go Martial. Ice cold for me. He's absolutely unbelievable penalties. I'll go Martial.
See, I'll go Bruno for the same reasons the others. He's very good at it, and Rashford and Pogba just don't fill me with confidence. So I'd go Bruno. Who takes the free kicks? A little bit more interesting because obviously Rashford scored that worldie, but I must admit I don't like Rashford on free kicks. I think he wastes so many just having a shot from stupid o'clock. So for me, Bruno takes the free kicks. Ricky?
Yeah.
If you're talking about direct free kicks from around the box, definitely Bruno on one side. On the other side, like the inside right channel, Juan Mata's best, but obviously he's not going to be on the park. So
maybe it's a shame we can't do the old American football thing, isn't it? Where you just bring him on for a free kick and then take him off.
Bring him on for a free kick.
Yeah, but definitely on the left side, Bruno.
Yeah. Adam?
Both sides, Bruno. You can see what this guy can do with a football is frightening. Both sides, Bruno for me.
It's interesting though, Saeed, isn't it though? Because I reckon Rashford will want that ball. He always wants it on the free kicks.
Well, you got Bruno to talk to now. You know what I mean?
Pogba as well.
It's not Pereira.
Pogba's going to want him. Pogba's going to want him, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, people are underestimating Bruno if you think Rashford's going to take the ball off him or Pogba. He's very much able to hold his own. And I think Bruno should be on all set pieces for United. I really do. Well, look, the show has absolutely flown by. Smash a like on the video, everybody, and massive week coming ahead. If the lads are up for it, what me and Flex were talking about this week, we really want to keep this show going on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock and keep the lads coming on. And the idea being that on a Sunday night, we'll have had a match one way or another. We might have even had two to discuss, and there'll be games coming up in the midweek. So we obviously are live every night at 8 o'clock, but next Sunday night, hopefully we'll have the lads back on as well. And we'll be digesting what happened against Spurs and maybe discussing a lot of what we hoped would happen tonight. But hopefully we'll be a win. You're all going to be doing your fan cams on Friday night as well, I think.
Yeah, hopefully good ones.
Yeah, looking forward to getting this all back. So, absolutely fantastic having you on. If you want to just do your round robin again, Ricky, start with you.
Rick the Red UK on Twitter.
Adam?
Yeah, Mad Red United on YouTube, and all my other socials are at the top of that page, people.
Saeed?
Yeah, United Central YouTube and at realist_187 on Twitter. Thanks for having me on.
And if anyone doesn't know who I am, I'm Mark Goldbridge, and you can follow me on Twitter as well. We've got a big week coming up. Very excited, as you can tell. I think it's we've all had a very hard lockdown for many different reasons, and obviously the serious message is there that it's not been great. But I've always said that football coming back would be good if it can be done safely. And you can see from the way we've been tonight and the way the live comments has been that this is a positive thing. And it's not just about coronavirus. Mental health in lockdown has been a real big thing. And for anybody who loves football, you can see that people are getting excited and they're buzzing. So hopefully things are still ticking along for it. And look, the great thing about it is we said this, I think Ricky said it a couple of weeks ago, you could do with this Spurs game being about 3 or 4 games in. What we really wanted was probably, Brighton at home first game, but we've not. We've got Spurs and it's massive. So big week ahead. Thanks everyone for watching as usual. Smash a like on the video and we will be back tomorrow. And thanks to all the lads for coming on. And hopefully next Sunday night we'll be celebrating and digesting a 5-0 win.
Come on, United.